Greetings and Grand Rising. Welcome back to another Conscious Conversation. When you start to love yourself really and truly and unconditionally, you will love yourself without a judgment. Meaning, you not only love your gifts, your talents, your abilities, the high vibrational side of self, but you also love the lower side of self. The things you may have experienced or went through, the bad choices that we may have made in the past, certain experiences that we've had that are certain shortcomings. You will start to love you wholly because that is unconditional love. When you only love one side of self, that's not true love, because unconditional love is love without a judgment. So when you start to judge certain parts of yourself in a lower light or in a negative light, then you're not operating on that frequency of unconditional love. And so that's the goal, is to love yourself fully and truly, because everything that we go through, everything that we experience is just that, an experience, But we go through things for us to learn, for us to grow, for us to evolve. So nothing is happening in vain. Everything is happening for you and not to you. And once you adopt that type of perspective, you won't ever feel like you need to judge yourself for the things that you went through or feel bad about your past or the things that you experienced, because you now love self unconditionally, because you understand and overstand the why to why you experienced those things, or why you chose to do those things, or why those things happened to you, or certain circumstances. You will start to understand, and you will start to unconditionally love yourself fully, because you love all parts of self, right? And so when we start to love ourselves unconditionally, we start to heal certain parts of ourselves. Certain parts of ourselves that we probably didn't even know was broken start to be healed, because you're now loving yourself properly, to where now you're not going to let nobody treat you outside of how you treat self. So can't nobody play with you. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody little boy or little girl you, because you love yourself fully. And you don't give that type of energy to self. So it's going to be hard for someone to come in now and break that barrier that you've built on true unconditional love. So you start to heal, right? And once we heal, we start to come into our authenticity. Because once you love self, and you've healed self, and you're standing in mastery, you now come into your authenticity. And unconditional love and authenticity are two of the highest frequencies that we have. So that's self-mastery. Unconditional love and authenticity. That's what sells. That's what Source would like to do through you. Through you. Is you being your true, authentic self, and you loving yourself unconditionally. Because when you start to love self, you start to love everyone else properly that's around you. You start to heal not only self, but everyone else around you heals. And we are connected to our ancestors, right? So not only do you heal, but you heal all of your ancestors connected to you. When you love self properly, you show gratitude to Source. You love your ancestors properly. You show gratitude to Source for it wanting to express itself through you. That's your true authenticity. That's why authenticity is one of the highest frequencies. Because if Source wanted to express itself as something that is already seen, why would it want to do that? It don't want to do that. It want to express itself as many ways possible. And it wants to love itself as many ways possible. It wants to learn more about itself through different perspectives. That's the whole reason for your being. So, self-love is very important, because once you really and truly start to love yourself unconditionally, you will start to heal. And once you start to heal, you come into authenticity. A lot of people, they're just authentically themselves. That's why a lot of people gravitate to them. Even if they might seem crazy, or they don't seem like the masses, right? They do shit outside of the norm than the rest of everybody else. Yeah, that's because they're being their authentic self. They're not being placed in a box. When you start to do things to appease other people, that's when you start to live in that box. And who wants to be living in a box? You can't put me in no box. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm always going to march to my own beat of my own drum. I'm always going to be self. And when you're yourself, that's when you're the most magnetic. That's when your aura is the brightest. You see? Because it first starts with self-love, and then healing, and then you come into the authenticity. So it's a gradual thing. And healing doesn't happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? But it's worth it. It's worth it to work through those traumas. It's worth it to do that shadow work. It's worth it to look self in the mirror and have those uncomfortable, real-ass conversations. It's healthy to be real with self. Because you don't have to wear no mask. Like a lot of us feel like we have to do. We have to wear a mask to be accepted by certain groups of people or by society. And it's like, you don't have to wear a mask. Source don't want you to wear no damn mask. There's no one way to be. Just be. Just be who you want to be. What feels the most right to you. What is more pleasing to your soul. What is the most in balance with your higher self. That is living your authenticity. And really showing yourself love. And coming into that confidence. Right? Because a lot of people that are confident, they got there by doing the work. Confident people, they know themselves. That's why they say that saying you gotta have tough skin. That's where the tough skin comes in. It's from doing the work. You know? So, like we said, once you come into that self-love for real, and you love yourself unconditionally without a judgment, you start to heal. And once you start to heal, you come into your authenticity. So I hope this video helps someone. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next conversation. Ashe.